Well, what ho and welcome to another inciting installment of Jack's Off on a Plane With. I forgot to swipe my button. Now, what a wonderful thing about flying in commercial aircraft is you never quite know who you're going to be sitting next to for the flight. But let's see who's going to be sitting next to me tonight. You already know, but I don't, honestly. Right, let's have a look. Why, it's yes, I know my seatbelt. It's Cup is a Cat. Hello. Cup is a Cat is a streamer and a retro gamer and puppet. And I think we gave you a little shout out there. And also, as of about 6 minutes ago, subscriber. So thank you very much for that.
That was embarrassing. I opened up the stream and got hit with an ad, and I was like, oh dear.
It's an easy way of solving that problem.
It is.
It's yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm just getting comfy here. I'm having some trouble with the seatbelt.
Yes, because maybe the nice lady will help you.
Oh yes, good.
I think she was around here earlier. There we go. Yes. So have you flown recently? Cup's voice is very quiet. Oh, hello.
This is my first flight since the world stopped.
Yes, the world stopped in 2020.
Hello, passengers.
Yeah.
At this time, the forward entry door is closed. All
That's
large
it. We
electronic
can't
devices
escape
should
now.
now be shut off and stowed, and all small portable electronic devices must be set to airplane mode. Make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright and locked position, and that your seatbelt
Are you a
is
nervous
correctly
flyer?
fastened. Should you have any difficulty with this,
No,
please
not
ring
really.
your call
I
button,
love looking at all
and the
the
flight
flaps
attendant will
moving on the
guide you
wings.
through the process.
Yeah.
Such.
Um,
I'll put my phone on flight mode.
If you have not yet done so, please stow your carry-on luggage.
The only reason I ask is I think it's the first time I've ever flown where I've seen a loose cat on board.
Force any item into a
one.
space that is too small for it. Then please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. If you are seated in an emergency exit, carefully
no,
safety
loose in the sense
information
of,
card
out and
located in your
about.
seat back pocket. If you do not
Is that
wish,
helpful? Is
are
that
unable,
personal?
or are unwilling
Yes.
to perform the
I was
functions
gonna say,
described in the event of an emergency, a flight
usually like little
attendant will
boxes or
receive
whatnot
you.
with the grills.
We remind
Kind
you
of
that this
like
is a
on snakes in a
non-smoking
plane,
flight.
but for
Smoking
cats.
is prohibited on the entire aircraft,
Instead of
including
snakes.
the lavatories.
And only the one.
Tampering with, disabling,
So you've been-
or
have you been-
destroying
you've
the
been
laboratory smoke
staycationing, have you?
detectors is prohibited by
I've
law.
been staycationing.
Please note that e-cigarettes are not a loophole to this regulation.
And
Should you have any other questions about today's flight,
Exeter,
please feel
if I'm
free to
honest.
ask a flight attendant. Thank you.
Different parts of Exeter, and stuff. I can't remember place names though, which is great because when people ask me where I've been on holiday, I normally just say, oh, you know, down round the bottom left bit.
Okay.
All the
Ladies
cool
and
stuff
gentlemen,
there.
please direct your attention to the seatback
We've,
monitors ahead of you for a
we've got,
video demonstrating the safety
a
features
slight
of
issue
this
with the audio.
aircraft.
Not sure what
We
that's
recognize
about,
some of you
but,
may be frequent travelers, but this
I'll see if I
information
can
is
sort that
important
out.
and we ask for your undivided attention at this time.
Properties. Ooh. There's always something. There's always something.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. I'll try and stay the same distance away from my mic. It's all this waggling around, you see.
We're on monitor only, which is correct.
Hello and welcome aboard.
Oh,
We'd like
hey,
to thank
Cryptic.
you for
I see
flying
Cryptic in
Pan
the chat.
Atlantica.
Tagging
We
me.
know you have many other choices, from regional
Okay,
carriers to national and
I think we're just
international
gonna,
airlines. But you chose
if you
us,
bear with me a moment.
and that means
Sorry
a
about
lot.
this. I've got to go behind the curtain. I've got to go behind the curtain. And we don't have curtains.
Pay attention to the following
So this is going to be awkward. Hang on.
If you haven't done so
Let's do
already,
that.
One,
please
two.
fasten your
Back in a
seatbelt.
moment. Back in a
In order
moment.
to accomplish this, simply follow these simple steps. First, grab...
Oh, hello. No. Hello. That's better. So we'll put it. Is that better? Is that better?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
It's louder in my ears.
With your left hand,
Hopefully
lift
louder
the
in yours
buckle,
too.
and then slowly and
But not in
steadily
mine,
move
unless
the metal end towards
something
the
would have to be wrong there.
keeping both
I think
ends
so. I think so.
perfectly
Your
aligned.
mouth would have to be nearer to your ears.
Carefully
And
insert the metal end into the
slightly
buckle
better still
until
quiet.
you hear it click.
Still quiet.
To tighten the
This is
strap,
very odd, 'cause
find
it's-
the end of the strap and
it's hitting where it needs to be
Careful
hitting,
not to
as far as I can
pull
see.
tight, or
I
you'll
know
have to
my
loosen it once more.
my condenser mic is
To
not
release your
the
seatbelt
strongest
in
thing in the
event you need
world,
to leave your
and if I
seat,
get too
find
close,
the
it
top of the
clips.
buckle.
What if I
Once
make
you found
myself
the top of the
quieter?
buckle, lift it up and it will release.
Hang on, let's
Ah,
do that.
could do.
And then everyone can just turn their volume up. That has to work.
Yeah,
Right.
it's all the noise from the vents and everything.
Probably. Yeah. Hold thumb and forefinger in each part. That much louder. Oh, that much louder. Okay. Better. Hurrah! Right. I'm making an executive decision. 'Cause
That
otherwise
much.
we're never gonna get this flight off the ground. That has
Marvelous.
helped. Good. I think it was more the game drowning us out than anything else. Sorry, the flight drowning us out.
Yeah, I had to turn that down a bit on my side.
Yeah.
The announcers are very loud.
Very, yes. Yeah, too loud. Now game sound is not there, but that's fine. Not there at all. I've taken it down too much. Hang on. Right, so enough fiddling. So you stream.
I do.
What
I do stream.
What do you do stream?
I do stream retro games. Primarily. Sometimes I do other stuff, usually if I'm collabing with other people, but I've definitely settled into a niche, I think.
Yeah.
It's retro games are consistently easy to play with my posable puppet arms,
Yes. Yeah.
which was the
Yeah.
main thing. But I also just love them. I love the nostalgia factor. I love the fact that you can jump into a game and experience pretty much the whole thing within a few minutes. And then get bored of that, plug another game in. You don't have to commit. Don't have to spend hours.
How to what extent are you just? Because I've kind of I can't quite get into the retro gaming thing personally myself, and I you rage quit. I've
Oh, sorry. I was moving my arms.
That's fine. But I sort of I can understand people who do. Are you playing games that you played when you were younger, or are they just games that you old games that you've never played, as it were?
It started out with games that I played as a kitten, but I've been exploring more and more. And I don't know. I think it's more the experience of being able to just flick from game to game, but also having friends there watching. Because if I play games on my own, play retro games on my own, I don't enjoy them as much. Not nearly as much. But then with an audience, it just feels so much different. I don't know why, and I end up loving it.
I guess there's a thing as well where, and I think it sort of keys into that perhaps, is that there's sort of a kind of cultural unpacking that goes on because you're sort of you're kind of having to remember what sort of 1996 was or whatever. That it's there's more to explain than just what's going on in the game, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, and it makes me think about things from that time. It prompts me to come up with stories that I can prattle on about because talking to myself is something I'm very good at. Which was good because that's why when I started streaming, I just went live, 0 viewers, and just talked to myself for hours.
Yeah. Which can be the best way. I was lucky in that when I started streaming and there was a sort of a kind of a circle of people around me already that were there. So I'm not sure I would have had the courage to do it. It's just sort of I nearly used a very foul analogy then, which I'm not going to do. I can't imagine starting out sort of I guess from scratch in that way. How long did it take before people sort of started tuning in on the regular?
It's taken I haven't been going a whole year yet, actually. So it's taken about this long.
Yeah.
Well, I started on YouTube. YouTube's not great for exposure. With YouTube, you're either just stay 0 viewers forever, or
Yeah.
you get blessed by the algorithm and have 1 million
Yes.
viewers out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Twitch seems a bit more balanced. So since I moved to Twitch, I've had a much better time of it.
Yeah, I mean, we still complain about Discovery on Twitch, but it's certainly a better, I think a better place for Discovery. Partly, I guess partly, and I assume that there's just fewer of us, which I think helps.
Yeah, there's a nicer community here as well.
Yes, yeah. I think that's another thing that sort of Twitch gets right is it's kind of very upfront with its interactive stuff. Just in a sock,
Justin,
which is either a dress code or a name.
just a sock.
Yeah. Don't ask where he's wearing it, but welcome in.
Oh, I just saw McCurtain's questions. What era of retro games?
Excellent.
Pretty much mainly 16-bit, but also some 8-bit games and some like early 3D, so 90s PlayStation era kind of games. Well, just PlayStation games.
That was the other thing, which I think is possibly why I have a slight kind of not reticence, but it's just sort of it's not as in sort of an intuitive space for me. Is I never had a games console, so you were sort of games console growing up.
Oh yeah, I grew up with a Sega Mega Drive, which shows in my choice of games.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was a bit older and I had been a very good boy all year, I got a PlayStation for Christmas.
Wow.
And that was the single best thing in the world at the time. I couldn't believe I had a real PlayStation of my own. So that's the vibe I channel.
I had a I had a 48K Spectrum.
I have one of those.
Is it one of the new sort of newfangled Diddy ones, or is it like a vintage?
No, it's a Sinclair ZX Spectrum 48K with the rubber keys, and it doesn't boot anymore because one of the RAM chips died. No, I know. It just shows scrambled characters on the screen.
Right. And my next door neighbour had a 48K Spectrum, and one of the first things that he did was pull the Kempston joystick interface out of the computer whilst it was running.
Oh no.
Yeah. Which, to the uninitiated, no more Spectrum. That's basically what that means.
It's like it works like Bumblebee stings. It just tears the guts out with it.
It's astonishing.
Sadly.
It's the idea that you could put out a product that had that level of vulnerability in it, and it was basically fine. And if it went wrong, it was your fault. But it's actually the most natural thing to assume in the world is that you could pull something off of it whilst it was running that doesn't seem to be integral to its function.
I think that way of thinking is kind of the time though, because going away from consoles for a sec, the guy who invented the Austin Mini, the original Mini, when questioned about the safety of his cars, he said, "My cars are so reliable and handle so well that if you crash it, it's your own fault."
Brilliant.
So his answer to safety was, "Don't crash them."
Don't crash. Absolutely. Yeah. And there are some that might say that we swung too far the other way, but I'm not sure I'm in agreement really. I just think maybe,
No, I am quite comfortable in the thought. In the off chance that some maniac does crash onto me head on in a car, that I'll probably be fine.
I think, and I'm going out on a limb here, but I think a lot of that came from the fact that you had people who either were engineers in the war or were brought up by people who were engineers in the war, the Second World War, that you have that kind of mentality, that it's sort of military-based tech where no, you read the manual and you follow the manual, and if you get it wrong, then court martials all round.
Yeah, court-martialed one way or the other.
That actually dealing with Civvy Street is a completely different environment. But yeah. So as well as I'm going to address the elephant in the room here, which is that not only are you a streamer, Cup, but you're also two things. You're a cat. So let's deal with that one first.
Okay.
How do you feel that being a cat has helped, or because I know cats are very popular on the internet? Do you feel that being a cat has helped you or hindered you in your streaming career?
I feel that being on the internet as a cat does have its advantages inherently, but I've never really leaned into that side too much. I don't do very many, cat things that people expect a cat to be doing.
Yeah. Such
as meowing and
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Playing with yarn.
No, I'm far more sophisticated than that. I see myself as quite a high functioning cat as far as cats go.
I think the first cat that I've had a conversation with, that's not been one way, should we say? So that's already I'm impressed, certainly.
Yes, good.
And in terms of being a cat that plays videogames, how does that? Because I can't imagine controllers being particularly cat-minded in their design.
No, that's true. So that's why I've had trouble with things like N64 games, because as you know, as you might know, I don't know if you do, N64 controllers are made for people with 3 hands.
And really?
As you can see, I barely have 2.
Yeah.
So that's quite difficult. PlayStation games as well, you can play without the analog sticks. Again, I only have 2 paws, and they're with a D-pad and 2 sticks. That's just a step too far. Are we rolling?
We're rolling. We're taking off. Just position the window between our screens.
Oh, look at those flaps go.
This is the bit. That sinking feeling in one's stomach.
My favorite part. I remember the first time I took off on a plane.
Yeah.
During this part, when the engines rev up and you start moving and you get the sinking feeling as you leave the ground, which I think we're about to.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
That was very sudden.
Oh, away we go. We go.
And then I was surprised that the engines didn't quiet down. I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah,
this is it for the whole flight now.
Those engines, that's the thing that's keeping us up.
they can't turn them down. They're important.
Christopher Throbbin, who says that humans can't handle N64, which is fine, also says he's never been on a plane.
Oh.
So what was that? Was that like a family holiday? Your first flight?
Yeah, it was a family holiday. When I was much younger, I remember having. Hold on, let's string a sentence together.
Okay.
It's the reason that I know all the lyrics to most of the original Lion King soundtrack.
Oh, right.
Is because for Christmas that year we had. I had, as in my sibling and I, had a CD of the Lion King soundtrack. And we also had Walkmans, which played audio cassettes. So
nice.
I recorded the CD onto these tapes, and that was all the music that I had with me on a plane to Australia.
Oh, wow.
So now I know all the words back to front.
Fantastic.
Because it just played on loop.
That's
the whole
not
time.
sort of an odd thing, really, about how listening to music's changed. Is that I think certainly with young people, they're I think much less likely to sort of what I term rinsing. They're much less likely to rinse tracks or albums, or firstly they don't listen to albums. I'm not. By the way, I'm not saying oh bloody millennials ruining music. It's just the technology's changed, and so how we consume music has changed. But yeah, you'd get an album, and then that would be it for you'd just be running it through over and over. Even
Yeah,
more
that
so
was-
if you're trapped in a tin can for 12 hours.
Yeah, there's not much else to do. I mean, I remember the in-flight system in the first plane I'd ever been on had a Super Nintendo built into it. It was
Good lord.
Singapore Airlines, and they had a SNES in the in-flight entertainment system. So I played Super Mario World for the first time.
This is this is the perfect vehicle for you. Jack's off on a plane with, because we can cover the flight thing and your nascent. Yeah, okay. And your nascent experiences with console games
Yeah,
in one fell swoop.
yeah, Super Mario World. I got quite far in Super Mario World on that plane, and then the system, like every time they made an announcement, it interrupted my game,
Yeah.
and then the system crashed, and I lost all my progress. So I didn't expect. I knew I couldn't take my progress with me off the plane, but halfway through the flight, losing losing all my progress and having to start again was quite annoying.
The only way of playing is to book another flight. It gets very expensive very quickly. Yeah, and you have to be on the same plane.
I remember on the second flight, the Nintendo system wasn't working properly, and so my mother complained.
Oh, okay.
And they must have reset the system about 5 times
God, yeah.
before it started working properly.
Karumba, who has recently been flying about in chat, recent Emirates flights has in-flight games where you can compete against other people on the same flight. High scores and a frisson of air raid risk. Yeah.
In-flight multiplayer.
That's astonishing. So kind of like on based around high score tables, I guess, rather than a deathmatch, as it were.
Oh, so like, was it live multiplayer, or could you just compare your number, see who has the biggest number?
I'm guessing it was a shared high score table, but
Oh,
thankful that was the only kind of crash you had, right, Zen Curtains? That's a dark thought coming from the moderator team there.
Don't think about crashing while we're on a plane.
Yeah. What was that old joke of playing airplane disaster movies on the in-flight?
I do actually think the movie Airplane is a great one to watch on a plane, though.
Yeah, must be. Yeah. Have you seen any of the films that Airplane was based on?
No, I don't think I have actually.
There are two in particular. There's one which it borrows from massively. Helpfully, I'm not going to name either of these because I can't remember. But the whole sequence with the air hostess with the guitar who sort of knocks the IV drip out of the girl that's being flown for her heart surgery. I watched the film that bit specifically was taken from, and it's extraordinarily close. It is just like they've taken each moment from that sequence in the original film and just pushed it a little bit further over the line. So you do get the bit where everybody leans into the aisle to look up the aisle and watch this, and it's awful stuff.
they borrowed the script then.
Yes, yeah. There's a black and white film that which is why, despite it being set in the 80s, Stryker has like a World War II post-traumatic stress disorder.
Oh yeah,
Which
that
doesn't quite make sense chronologically. Karumba answers high score tables, but I think there was poker as well. Didn't progress beyond the Tetris clone.
Yeah. Lo-fi lo-fi poker on an in-flight entertainment system. That's
Yeah.
a whole aesthetic on its own.
Just bring some cards. Just bring some cards.
You could use real cards.
Yeah. It's just a
You
thought.
know, when it's completely random thought that this came up, but when you were trying to remember the names of those movies,
Yes.
it reminded me of the dream I had last night.
Okay.
I was in some kind of classroom, like in a university kind of setting, and the teacher, lecturer, whoever he was having a conversation with another student about how close we are to cyborgs and like robotic body parts and stuff. And then they said, "Oh, there was a movie about that. What was it? It's the one where that guy nearly dies, and then they're like, oh, we have the technology, we could rebuild him, and then he captures criminals." And then they said, "Oh yeah, I know the film. I just can't think of the name." And they said the main character's name was Freddy, wasn't it? And they were like, "Oh yeah, that was it. Oh, that's it. It was Robo Fred."
Brilliant.
And I piped up and said, "No, the film's called RoboCop.
Yeah.
You're talking about RoboCop." And they were like, It is called RoboFred, though. I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, no, it's called RoboCop, I swear. And I was trying to Google it then on my university laptop.
Yeah.
And that strange thing was happening that happens in dreams sometimes, where I typed RoboCop into the search box, and then something entirely different about flowers and plant pots came up. And I was like, no, why isn't it working? And the laptop kept getting increasingly frustrating, and then I woke up and had to search it on my phone just to make sure I wasn't crazy. I was like, yeah, RoboCop exists. It's called RoboCop.
Did you do a Google for RoboFred though?
No.
Because it could be that there's this other film called RoboFred, and you just didn't know each party didn't know of the other's film's existence.
Oh, maybe.
It's plausible.
His name's not even Fred, though. I can't remember what his name is, but it's definitely not Fred.
I don't think we get a surname, do we? I want to say his name was Murphy, but...
Oh, yeah, it was Murphy.
Yeah, but I think that was his surname.
I was talking about that with someone earlier, and I was saying, it's like a generic American cop name, like McDugson or Collins or O'Connor or something.
Kowalski.
You
get a lot of Polish cops in American literature.
Have you ever seen that screenshot from? There's a game on the Nintendo. It's an American baseball game where a Japanese developer was tasked with coming up with a bunch of American names.
Yeah.
And they include such gems as Bobson Dugnut and Onsen Sweemy.
I think so. Because I think
Daryl Arkideld.
That's quite a meme on the Twitter, isn't it? I think it's like every time there's a leadership contest in the Conservative Party, there's they've just announced the names, and it's that, yeah.
Daryl Arkideld, Onsen Sweemy, Bobson Dugnut. What was the other one? Sleeve McDykel. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah. It's elements of sort of Ford Prefect in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He calls himself that because it seems to be a popular name. for a car. Which La Befana? Welcome to the stream. This is you puppets on a plane movie. Could be. Willow.
Which La Befana? Hello. These are some. I'm seeing some names that I know have followed me here.
Excellent. This is how I'm operating. Is I'm working my way through all of Twitch and just sort of scalping followers from other people's communities. That's all this is. It's a cynical drive.
It's business. What can you say? It's all business.
It's not called Show Friends, is it?
No. No, I mean we're not friends.
No, God.
And yet here I am.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about flying commercial, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't know who you'll be next to.
You don't know who you'll be next to. I think I'm just going to see if I can order a drink yet. Because I'm.
I mean,
Oh.
I know in-flight, like
No.
airline coffee must taste awful, but
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah. I could go an OJ. Okay.
You can't go far wrong with an OJ.
No, not at altitude. Oh, speaking of which, we've this is a bit of backstory. Is that we've set up I've just realised something terrible. Okay, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We've set up a chat house system. So anybody in chat can be assigned to, if they want to be assigned to a house, and then those houses can compete for house points. And one of those houses is called Baker, because they're named. Like were you at a school that had houses growing up?
I mean, my high school introduced houses when Harry Potter first became popular. So.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm much older than Harry Potter, so we had houses au naturel. No, that means naked. Hang on. we had sort of native. We had houses. That was basically it, and ours was sort of Dane, Saxon, Norman, Britain. I think that was primary school.
The historical kingdoms.
Yeah. I can't remember what the grammar school. I know grammar school houses were, but our houses are Baker, Aston, Nolan, and Gubby,
Nice.
which is of course the original lineup of Bucks Fizz.
Awesome.
And yes, we have houses in the Discord. So if you're in a house and you go onto the Discord, there's a channel for each house that only that house can get into.
Ooh.
And somebody posts in Millstone
Secrets.
Barn, yes, for plotting. And Millstone Barn, current of this parish, he posted a video which was of a song I believe called Laid Back. No, it was by a band called Laid Back, and the song was Mr. Baker, and it's basically the whole video is them free falling, like just for real, out of planes, with, I'm guessing, pretend easily destroyed instruments and things, and not a comfortable watch.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I have an irrational phobia of falling from high distances.
Are you a nervous flyer?
No, I put my faith in the plane, really.
Yes, a good solid plane beneath your feet.
But I did come over all peculiar up the Eiffel Tower once.
Oh.
Yeah, because it moves.
Yes, I've heard that. I've never been up there myself.
Yeah, it sways.
I have climbed the Tower of Pisa though, and that's just, it doesn't move, but it's sort of, the whole thing is a bit sideways. So as you go up the spiral staircase, you go up some steep steps, and then some fairly flat steps, and then a sideways bit, and then some steep steps. So it's all topsy-turvy and messes with your sense of balance. Yeah,
just the thought of trying to go up some spiral staircase that's on a slopes I'm not particularly good at. I'm better than I used to be, but that's a regular sort of dream thing as well, is of me having to contend with sloping landscapes. Besides, if you've seen the sort of landscape I've walked across in Cornwall, I'm fine with it in real life these days. But it takes a bit of almost what's the word? Disassociation.
Yeah, I've had dreams like that as well. Like usually in a car, and the car's driving up a hill that just gets steeper and steeper and steeper until it's pretty much vertical.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how the car isn't falling backwards off the road.
Yeah. I certainly get that. It's usually public transport for me, oddly. Is I'll be on a train. Hello. Cryptic Mimic. Cryptic Mimic has just joined Aston.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's see.
picking sides already.
Yeah. We're going to. There's going to be prizes eventually. It's going to be fun.
Does anyone know what the prizes are?
I have an inkling. We've not confirmed anything, but yeah, there's something that's just in the right level of special and cheap that I think is going to be it. So, but we shall see. Are there any sort of cat-themed games that you've played on stream?
Oddly, no.
Oh.
No, I've never. Like I said, I don't think about the cat theme all the time. I don't play the cat card all that often. So I haven't looked for any cat themed games.
Yeah.
Everyone was begging me to play Stray when that came out.
Oh yeah. But that's not. Oh, I'm not to tell you your business, but did that sort of fall without your remit? Did you feel or?
Well, I mean, it's not retro, but also I've never really enjoyed playing a big like AAA game when it's still big.
Yeah.
I like things to stand the test of time. So if 6 months down the line everybody still agrees that it's an amazing game, then I'll give it a go. Because I've seen so many games get hyped, and then it releases and everyone says, wow, this game's amazing. It's the best thing since sliced bread. And then 3 weeks later, everyone's like, actually, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it a while to cool down before I look at Stray.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. I didn't stream it, but I did. It was what I did was I've got a Roger, plug your ears. I've got a Steam Deck, and when I got it, the one that I got originally, it's the power button wasn't really working very well, and I had that for about a month or so, and I'd started playing Stray, and in my head it was like, oh, when I get the Steam Deck, I will play Stray on it. So it became this sort of symbol, really, of my Steam Deck capabilities, and then I had to send it back to ostensibly to get it fixed, but to actually get it replaced. And I stopped playing Stray, and then when it came back, so I had this huge sort of hiatus in the middle. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for all of that.
It broke the flow for you.
Yes.
Couldn't get back into it.
Yeah. I think it kind of interrupted the structure of the story, which happens quite a lot for me in games. I think it happened with Skyrim. I stopped playing Skyrim for I think about 2 years, and then I just sort of stormed through it. It was odd.
You can't remember what was happening then, and you have to start again.
Yeah.
Every single time I play Skyrim, I start out thinking, okay, right, this time I'm going to be this kind of character. I'm going to be a battle mage. But while I'm leveling up my mage skills, I'll use the sword sometimes when it's convenient. And before I know it, while I'm still building my character, I've just completed several main story arcs.
Yeah.
And
hello. Oh.
Is he Australian?
He is. He's Bennett Foddy. Are you familiar with Bennett Foddy?
Yeah, I've heard. I saw his game with the what's it called?
Getting Over It.
Getting Over It. Yeah.
That's his big hit. Yeah.
The Cauldron Hammer game. Is what I was going to say.
Karumba's not completed Skyrim. I don't want to spoil it for you, Karumba, but at the end you have to fight a dragon.
You have to fight Mario.
Yeah, that'd be great. You see, Bethesda, if you're watching, and I know sometimes you are, that's what you need at the end of you need a twist ending, and you can't get a bigger twist than just like, oh, the end of game mega boss is Mario.
Yeah, it's the guy who voices Mario anyway. What's his name? What's the Mario guy?
Bob Hoskins.
Probably. I still, if that's correct, it has not jogged my memory, so I'll take your word for it.
No, Bob. I think Bob played Mario in the original motion picture of the
Oh,
Mario Brothers.
oh, I see.
The second best film in which he plays a plumber.
I'm trying to. That's gonna bother me now
Oh.
until I find out.
There's a house point.
Distract me.
There's a house point.
Something else.
House point in chat for anyone who can name the dragon voice from the end of Skyrim, or Mario rather.
Yeah,
Is it both? Is he both of those?
that's the end of Skyrim ruin. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, you're welcome, Plankton. You're welcome. To be honest, I didn't ruin the ending of Skyrim. Bethesda ruined the ending of Skyrim.
Bernard Cribbin.
No, it's not Bernard Cribbins. He voiced
I'm gonna Google it.
the Wombles. Parthenax is the voice of Mario, not the main villain. Is it
Charles
Julia
Martinet.
Louis-Dreyfus? Charles Martinet. There we go.
Yeah, Charles Martinet. He's an extremely diverse voice actor, as it turns out. Much like the guy who voiced Winnie the Pooh. He's voiced so many characters that sound nothing like Winnie the Pooh, and I was really surprised to find that out.
Because it's such a characterful voice, isn't it?
I've heard a few characters that are very similar to his Winnie the Pooh voice, where I'm like, yes, that's the same voice actor. But then when I found out about the others, I was like, oh, really? Well, acting, I suppose. That's what that is.
I stand quite badly. Ashley, hang on. Oh, I stand so badly I've forgotten her name. Ashley Birch. And it was primarily through Tiny Tina and Hey Ash, what you playing? And then you get your Horizon Whatsits, and it's like, oh, she plays like the main character in Horizon Whatsits, which she turns up in Aliens Colonial Marines, which I must press on with. Speaking of games that get a lot of hype when they come out and then sink without a trace, I didn't go anywhere. I think I bought Aliens Colonial Marines as a joke. And it sat on the shelf, metaphorically, for about a year or so. And then I played it, and I thought, oh, this is brilliant. It's a bit of a corridor shoot, but this is great. I should go back to it, really. But, yeah.
That's happened to me before with I can't remember what it was now. It was a FIFA game where, like, I'm not interested in football in the slightest. Yeah. And I know, we know the type. They go home, they play FIFA, they make their dream team and everything. Yeah. And like, I played an old FIFA game for a bit, and I was like, oh, as a game, it's actually pretty good. Am I enjoying myself? Yeah. Oh no, do I like football? No, I just like video games. That's what it was.
Absolutely, yeah. I quite like race driving games.
Me too.
But the thought of watching, it's just like, no, why on earth would I want to watch cars having a race? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm like, from experience, if you're the one doing the racing, then there's a lot happening. There's a whole story is unfolding on the track, and there's, it's amazing. But when you're watching it, it's very, very difficult to show that story from the outside. They go round in circles. It just looks the same every lap, and it's like, if there's one interesting corner on the track, you see the leaders go around that corner, and then nothing happens until the next time they get there.
Yeah, there's that kind of build up. Like, oh, yeah. Daniel Riordan, Christopher Robin is saying, was the voice of the actor who plays the big boss dragon in Skyrim.
Oh,
whose name was Alduin.
I see. Charles Martinet was one of them.
Yeah, you would have been in there somewhere. Who's the other one? It'll come back to me.
The other one.
Yeah, there's a voice actor who does the films. and he was Welker, Frank Welker. That's the one. Frank
okay.
Welker's worth a look up. Yeah, he's famous for doing throat noises and animal noises. So I think he was in Scooby Doo. I think as the blonde chap possibly, but made much more of a career of him for himself for playing the monkeys in the original Jumanji movie and playing the unicorn in the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. These are all
Nice.
probably things from before you were born, Cup as a Cat.
Probably.
But yeah.
I like who the heck was it now? I remembered a whole situation that has happened with some TV show or other. But I can't remember which TV show it was or who the actor was or anything. But there was, I think it might have been Family Guy or something. There was a famous actor wanted to be on the show, so he voiced a dog.
George Clooney. I think it was South Park.
Oh,
Might have been South Park and George Clooney.
It was. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. And I love
just voiced a dog barking and growling.
It's like I like it when celebs, like major celebs, often I think they reach a point in their career where it's like they're not allowed to mess around in their work in a way that they perhaps would like to. I love all that. And there was Samuel L. Jackson when he was over. I think he was over filming something. And he got really addicted to the Chris Evans television program, TFI Fridays. And he basically said, "Can I go on TFI Friday? I'm here for another week. Can I go on? Can I go on?" And they were like, "Well, we've not really. We'd love to have you on, but there's not really. I don't know where we'd put it through." And what they did is they got him on, and about 3 or 4 times through the show, it would just go over. You just get this camera on Samuel L. Jackson going, "Hi, I'm Samuel L. Jackson, the Hollywood celebrity this show just hasn't got time for," and then it would just go on to something else.
They had him on there then.
They had him on there, but doing nothing, really, apart from a gag. And that's I think there's sort of the distance of celebrity has gone a bit weird. Unless it's always like that, but sort of TV fame always felt like quite cut off from movie fame, and now it's sort of, I think everything's bleeding into everything else.
Yeah, and even it's odd. The internet world is even bleeding into the TV world a bit. Like you see people on TV now doing a thing, and you're like, how did they get that program?
Yeah.
Oh well, they had a really big YouTube channel, and now they're on TV.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it goes now.
Getting eyeballs on you, basically. And if, by the way, both Cup and myself are available for film work. Yeah, as long as I've got the idiot boards, I'm fine.
I have other ties.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask you
about. I'm very versatile.
I was going to ask you about that. The ties, actually. Do you have other ties? That was the question. Oh.
Yes, I have other ties.
Yeah. Do you have a tie policy? Is there some sort of tie? Oh yeah, that's another question.
I just like to look smart. I used to mix and match. I had the tie that I started with in my early streams was it was I made it myself. It was cut out of blue felt.
Lovely.
With a string of blue wool to tie it around my neck, and it was a bit small and a bit naff, to be honest. And then I discovered on Amazon that you can buy ties for cats, so I ordered some of those.
And you are a cat,
and yeah, they fit me perfectly.
Perfect.
I for ages I was thinking, how am I going to buy accessories pre-made that fit me? And then genius moment, ties for cats.
Fantastic.
So I have a few of those that fit me quite well. And then I stumbled upon this lovely thing, this real satin tie, which is, it was listed as a tie for babies.
Nice.
So that's how it fits me.
if you want to, if you want to take a baby to a wedding of a couple that you hate,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put a little tie about this big on your baby.
Yep.
And they can't choke on it because it was originally held together with some weak Velcro
Yeah.
that just came off if I moved too quickly.
I was going to say that Velcro in the wrong direction. Very strong. Very strong.
Yeah.
Karamba has an amazing revelation. We've been sharing some Frank Welker facts in chat. We welcome those. But Karamba's come up with a Samuel L. Jackson fact, which is that Karamba, goes to the same kilt fitter as Samuel L. Jackson. Have you ever
it's a small world.
Karamba, have you ever bumped into him having a fitting?
Or not? I'd imagine that would get quite awkward physically bumping into someone while you're both having kilts fitted.
Yes, yeah. I'm not quite sure how that would work. not having been fitted for a kilt before. I thought about it once. I was in rep for 37 years, and yes, we did do the Scottish play Macbeth, and do you know there's a theatrical tradition which is that you don't. It's thought unlucky to say the name Macbeth in the theatre, except as part of the play itself.
Oh, is it? So they just call it the Scottish play?
They either call it the Scottish play or the Two Gentlemen of Verona. And that's my favourite theatrical joke. It doesn't always land, but I don't care.
if that was supposed to make me giggle, it's gone way over my head. I'm very uncultured, I'm afraid.
The joke is that there are a lot of Macbeth productions. Nobody really bothers with the Two Gentlemen of Verona. You said the name. I said the name, Codex. I'm fearless. I'm fearless. Unfortunately, not Tiny Shop as well, so I wouldn't be able to. Is it big enough to swing a cat in, Karamba? I feel like
we could try that out.
I know. Yeah. My brain was going, say that, it'll be funny, and it didn't explain why. And it took me about half a second after saying it, and I thought, oh yeah, because cat. Oh wow.
Oh, because cats.
Because cats. Yeah.
Jack's jokes are too highbrow for his audience.
Yeah, they're not. Samuel wouldn't be able to, but I might.
I was about to say something about simpletons, but as the shortened version of that is, as in like the word simp, isn't that banned on like you can't say?
I think it went
in the context of
Yeah, I think it's considered hate speech.
Oh.
But I never quite. It wasn't really a word in my purview anyway.
Oh, fair enough.
So I didn't really get embroiled in the discourse on that one.
Thing is, I only ever heard it used in like friendly ways, and then heard that it was banned on Twitch, and I was like, oh.
It's like the
weird.
Oh, I'm going to say a word now. It's like the word bitch, which I'm sorry, but yeah, is that it's clearly misogynist. It's a terrible word. It's misogynist. I almost entirely hear it and use it in relation to other men. And I don't feel like in doing that I'm or they are making a statement or backing or condoning a view of women. I think it's just a funny thing to say to a man, but I'm well prepared to be wrong on that.
No, I agree, but also I'm not. How do I say it? I'm not one of those people who say, "Oh, I should be able to say I don't have to mind my mouth." If someone says, "Oh, when you talk about I don't know random thing, when you talk about frogs, it really upsets me because it reminds me of a bad thing that happened," I'll say, "Okay, I'll move on."
Yeah. I will make a mental note not to talk about frogs around that person, because that's just being nice, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so why should it be an issue if it's of a more broader? Yeah. Yeah. I think we've done a lot of good today
Yeah.
by having
Put
this
the,
chat.
put the world to rights.
Yeah. Willow, General Davis sits on an ottoman in the corner. Oh, I see. Davis is lurking. That's allowed. Does Cup ever need to change their tie colour to avoid comparisons with political figures fond of a statement tie?
I remember when it was when I bought this one. Well, first of all, my initial choice to go with a blue tie was the fact that it works very well against a green screen.
Yes.
So that was my main decision, and a couple of other colors just didn't look good on me. I think it looks good against the color of my fur.
I was going to say, yeah, it's what I call a complementary clash. Is blue and orange. Ooh, lovely. It's one of my favourites.
But then, when this tie arrived, I looked at it and thought, wow, this tie is magnificent. And then remembered, I thought of exactly what Karumba mentioned there.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, are they still doing the tie-coloured things? So I started to search for recent footage of Parliament, and no, they're not really doing the tie thing anymore. So I was like, that's fine then. So hopefully I don't have to worry.
I think my favourite thing about the political colours is I don't know if it's true anymore, but for a long time, the winner of the general election in a general election year, their colour would be the same colour.
In a few moments, flight attendants will be coming around the cabin with our in-flight service.
Oh,
snacks.
Pretzels, please.
Okay.
Is there? Do you have a menu?
I can't. Lovely. I am going to. Oh, look, it's frosted up around my window hole. Attention to detail. Oh, it's not come up yet. I'm going to spam it. No, it'll come, I'm sure. I missed out last time.
In-flight systems.
I didn't get a drink. When I was flying with Ninja. Oh, see options. There we go. We have water, soda water, cola, ginger ale, orange juice, apple juice, tomato juice, beer, white wine, or red. I usually go for the orange juice at this point.
I think airplane beer is not good. I think white wine is the safest bet for me.
Okay, well, you have the white wine. I'm going to try the. Let's see what happens if I have the tomato juice. No, I'm going to have ginger ale because I don't think I've had bubbles before.
Fizzy drinks on a plane. I don't know how they cope with that.
I don't know. It's like one of the things that keeps me awake at night is that there was a bar on the Titanic, and I'm pretty sure that bar served drinks with ice, which means they were carrying ice on the Titanic. And I know that there were certainly refrigerated rooms that the food was in, so presumably they were making the ice. I basically want to know how much ice was on the Titanic when in the Titanic bar when it went down.
Well, there was soon to be an awful lot more ice very quickly.
Very much so. Very much so.
Also, they. I heard that a lot of the drinks from the Titanic bar are still serviceable. They're still sealed.
Wow. We're not allowed to have them, though, are we?
No, I mean, if you had the wherewithal and equipment to go down there, I don't think anyone could stop you.
You know how in olden times people would be buried with all of their possessions because they thought that they'd take them through into the afterlife?
Oh yeah, like ancient Egypt.
Yeah. Gee, if that was true, then all of those people on the Titanic would have excellent bedrooms. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I'm just saying that
I was picturing that in my head, and I was thinking all the people on the Titanic would be underwater.
It's in the underwater, yeah, in
the
the afterlife. if it stretches that far. But yeah, they'd have a lot of their stuff with them.
The
Especially,
pool on
you
the
know,
Titanic is still filled with water. I like that one.
Oh wow, there's water at the bottom of the ocean, in the words of Talking Heads. Titanic is a mass grave, so I guess it figures there'd be loads of spirits. Wow, wowzers. I think we need a house point for Cryptic Mimic and Karambala. The ice was liberated by its big brother. Yeah, OP as well.
Tish, indeed.
Yeah, I think house points all around. But you're not getting the shields tonight because we're on a different setup. Shields come up. Not defensive shields. Decorative shields.
Emotional shields.
Yes, we all need those. Oh, yes. Have you met anything? We might move on to Cats from Cats. Have you seen Cats? That was what these are terrible questions.
No.
Have you seen Cats? No, me neither. Let's move on.
The film I've seen a lot of the Cats film, and it looks horrifying. I hate the look of it.
Right,
I haven't seen it, so I can't give a full review. But it looks horrifying.
Part of me does wonder if maybe when you watch it, you'll get like 5 or 10 minutes in, and you'll just adjust.
Just acclimatize to it, like the Polar Express.
Where
the first time you see Tom
Hanks,
you're going, oh no, what's wrong with Tom Hanks? Oh, it's horrible. And then you just settle in, and it's fine.
Yeah. I've seen a clip, and now I don't know if it's real or not. Oh, that's weird.
If what's real?
I've just realised that about a year or so ago, I took on something on Trust, having watched the video, and I've realised that because of modern technology, it could have just been pretend. Is it Tom Hanks did the faces for virtually everybody in Polar Express? I think you had the boy doing the boy.
I know the conductor is basically Tom Hanks. I don't know about anyone else.
And they showed like footage, and it was like, yeah, all of these children have Tom Hanks' face. It's weird. And I've realised that that's probably a joke.
It may well have been, but I have to find out now. I'm going to make a note after the stream.
Okay, it's important.
Polar Express, Tom Hanks' face. Yeah.
I tried to come up with a Titanic pun, but it just sank. Well done, Squirrel Nutty. Well done. Welcome in, Paul.
Of course, Cats looks horrifying. James Corden is in it. Man, I liked James Corden when he was in Gavin and Stacey.
I was going to say Corden the actor I like. Corden the human being and broadcaster. No.
He was cool in Gavin and Stacey, and then he went to America, and something went wrong.
He adopted the D-like T, the soft T of American speech, which
oh no,
does my nud in.
Does my nut in?
Yeah. It's very, very, very uncomfortable. If you're English, watching James Corden speak American, it's weird.
I always default to Sonic the Hedgehog when I try to do an American accent.
And I've so many of my friends default to Sonic. It's weird.
Way past cool.
Wow. I like James before his head got swollen. Got swelled pretty early. Does your nut? Yeah. Orange Spark translating there. Who's our guest tonight? It's Cup is a Cat from Twitch.
It's me.
Didn't he steal Crichton's car idea too? Not really.
Crichton's car idea?
Robert Llewellyn did a series which was him interviewing people in cars. He would take them.
Oh, the carpool karaoke thing.
He would give them a lift somewhere and interview them whilst he was giving them the lift. It's got nothing to do with this format. It's a very different format to this because this is a plane. Yeah, it's a completely different setup.
Neither of us is driving.
This is true. If one of us was driving, the other one wouldn't be allowed to sit with us unless they were co-pilot or navigator.
And even then, I'm pretty sure they're not really allowed to come back here.
Yeah. But oh no, I appreciate that, Paul. I think the thrust of Corden's idea was singing in the car, which I think was, if it's stolen from anyone, was probably stolen from, oh, who's that chap? Stand-up comedian. It goes, hey, do you remember Soup? Do you remember Soup? Eh? What was that about? Soup. You get it in tins.
Oh,
Peter Kay.
I can. Peter Kay, that's the one.
Yeah. Somebody in chat answered that, Paul. Yeah.
That was an amazing impression, by the way.
It was exactly like it was like he was in the room listening to us. M. Curtin's Sue Pollard. No, Sue Pollard sounds very much different. Sue Pollard's more, hey, do you remember Soup? What was that about? It's a very different voice. It's a very different voice.
Oh, man, I got Crichton. Not Crichton. Robert Llewellyn. Well, yeah, Crichton. I got Crichton's signature. Robert Llewellyn in his. It's like an autobiographical book, mostly focusing on the Red Dwarf stuff. So there's like Crichton on the front cover, and he called me a Smeehy.
Wow, he's you know, like you look at a cast of actors and you think, who's the nice one? Because there's always a nice one. KYTV, Michael Fenton Stevens. That's easy. Red Dwarf. Everyone in chat is going, what the hell is KYTV? Don't care. Red Dwarf, yeah, easily Robert Llewellyn.
Yeah, Robert. Yeah. I see. It's funny. Everyone. I'm used to hearing people say Robert Llewellyn, but I automatically pronounce it Robert Llewellyn because of the Welshness.
Yes.
And me technically being Welsh.
Yeah.
I don't sound very Welsh because Monmouthshire is so close to England. It's basically England. I
was going to say it's just around. It's accent-wise, it's just on the fringes. The Welsh. Yeah. It's just sort of. It's like it's English that's vignetted in Welsh. Not that there's a Welsh accent, of course. But,
no, I mean, like I've talked about it before on stream, I think. But my accent is definitely more of a Monmouthshire accent, and most people would say it's more of an upper class Monmouthshire accent. But I'm definitely nowhere near any upper classes. I don't know where that comes from, but
oh, hello.
Yeah. I live in what could be described as a shoebox. Ooh, snacks.
Yeah, finally. Oh, I see. Oh, that's cool. I never really noticed that before. Because I just want my orange juice usually. There's a little carton of tomato juice there on the.
I've never drank tomato juice.
It's
I always assumed it would just taste like watered down ketchup.
It's an experience. It's an experience. There's a reason you add vodka and Tabasco sauce to it. That's all I'm saying.
Today's Squirrel Nutty quoting Red Dwarf. Today's fish is trout a la creme. Enjoy your meal. Fish. Today's fish is trout a la creme. Enjoy your meal. Fish. Repeat ad nauseum.
Yes. Anything from the trolley.
Is she looking at me? Or no.
Our fellow passenger.
No, the flight attendant.
The flight attendant reminds me, and I hate myself because I always forget her name. But there's a lovely Scottish performer on Twitch, not on Twitch, on the other one, Twitter. Who does she does this character called Craig, who is a tour guide who no longer gives an expletive, and it's they're very funny monologues. That's, I think, perhaps what she's best known for.
Yeah, Twitch and Twitch. I used to get those confused so often because I would start in my usual fashion. I would type TWI and then enter just to autocomplete the website I want.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, that's not enough. I need to do TWIT.
Eleanor Morton.
Still not enough.
Yeah, you could keep going. It's Eleanor Morton is the correct answer. A house point to Plankton, 1975, for failing for ailing. No, hang on. Oh, never mind. A house point for Plankton.
How about a toasted tea cake? See, chat's
deep into the Red Dwarf lines.
Rehearsing Red Dwarf lines, yeah.
Yeah. Can I confess to you something about Red Dwarf?
Yeah.
As much as the first episode is brilliant in lots of ways, and I remember the first time it going out because the advert for it, the trailer, basically just pushed this sort of throbbing hub of science fiction activity with this shit with loads of people on it. And then,
Oh yeah,
it's sort of the big twist in that first episode is everyone dies. Craig Charles, terrible performance in that first episode. There's moments where it's fine, where he's firmly into the comedy stuff, but there are whole sections where it's just like, yeah, you're just walking around reading your script. That's basically it.
yeah. That's true, but I mean the whole the low budgetness of it all is part of its charm,
Yeah,
which is why I absolutely love when they did the reboot.
Yeah.
The famous reboot on Dave. They kept all the low budget effects. They could have done
Perfect.
some
Yeah.
pretty cheap CGI explosions that look pretty good, but no, they went with the old fashioned low budget live action effects. I thought that was amazing.
I was at university with a chap what done the 3D Starbugs, the
Oh,
CGI
nice.
Starbugs, yeah, and he was absolutely lovely chap. I think he was sort of wandered into a hugely controversial sort of thing with that because it was I think quite divisive at the time.
Oh, with for the reboot version.
I know
ones.
for the God, I can't remember which season it would be now.
Oh,
They're
the
basically-
first time they did CGI Starbucks.
Yeah. So they dropped the Starbugs, Sparky, Starbugs, not Starbucks. This isn't
Starbug.
This isn't Battlestar Galactica. Oh wow! See what I did there? Circular punnage. Yeah, it was originally. It was. I can't remember the guy's name now, but he used to do this. He used to fly Thunderbirds for Jerry Anderson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eleanor Morton. And yeah, and then he flew Starbugs on Red Dwarf, and then he got replaced by my mate in his computer.
Well, I mean, I know they use CGI, but it's still very retro looking CGI, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So by me, that's fine. If it looks like something that you put together on Windows 95 and took 3 days to render, that's fine by me.
Yeah. Was that the huge problem that Babylon 5 had with its CGI was that because generally, as I understand it, generally these days things are over rendered, if you like. So they're rendered at a much higher definition and resolution than they're actually required. But the budget restrictions and the timing restrictions were such on Babylon 5 that they basically just did NTSC pixel by pixel. That's all you're getting, which is why it's been I think such a struggle to get them remastered. Was that basically it wasn't like they could go back to 35mm beautiful super resolute images. It was like, no, these aren't going to get any better. This is all that we've got.
I mean, AI upscaling nowadays, I suppose, is the best you could do with that.
Yeah, I mean they have subsequently done it since. So I don't know if that's excuse me. I don't know if that's what they've done. It would make sense.
Because that's how they redid Star Trek: The Next Generation in full HD, wasn't it? It's because it was all shot on film, so they just it's photographic film, so they just rescanned them in HD.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, having watched it, you do see a lot more of the cracks than I think you're supposed to. Like you can blatantly see when stunt doubles are used. And you could see like bits around the edge of Lieutenant Commander Data's makeup and prosthetics on Klingons and things like that you just wouldn't be able to see in standard definition.
Yeah. I think the worst or best example of that, depending on how you look at it, is the Patrick McGowan series, The Prisoner, where the whole aesthetic was around these sort of seamless spaces. And they sort of came out on DVD, fine. As soon as it hit Blu-ray, it was like, oh dear, no. Suddenly these aren't seamless sets anymore.
No, you can see the seams.
Definitely. And that was, I think, a big sort of alarm bell that rang out with TV and film production, was that because everybody was sort of going, oh yeah, better definition. This is all great. This is all wonderful. You had these production companies saying, yeah, everything's going to get more expensive now because everything's going to have to look much better.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's part of my secret to my Photoshop skills on my stream set is that because I go for photorealism, right?
Yeah.
Like the TVs and everything, it's supposed to look like I'm pointing a camera at those TVs. So cameras aren't perfect. They have grainy bits. Things look a bit mushy sometimes. So rather than trying to make things look better, if you make things look slightly worse, so they look just as bad as everything else in the picture, it looks so much more realistic that way.
Yeah. This is the thing that I've found really fascinating about CGI, dabbling in Blender as I do, is that in the pursuit of photorealism, you say you're doing a pack shot of a product, so you want to pursue photorealism, so you create this set. Like say it's a tin of soup. We'll stick with the soup, and then you want this tin of soup on a kitchen work surface, but you want to do it all in CGI because you need to control stuff, and the artwork hasn't come back for the can itself, and this, that, and the other. Because it's usually like so many people that get involved with creative decisions now that you have, that it's easier to do it in CGI rather than to hire a photographer and just have this one shot and then it's done. But you want photorealism, so as you say, you put stuff in, you put the flaws in, you put all the mistakes in. If you're a photographer and you're trying to do a pack shot, you go in and you try and get rid of all of those flaws. So I just find it really fascinating that it's two different disciplines moving in a completely different direction.
I'm not sure. I have to think about whether I'm allowed to say this. Probably, because nobody knows who I'm talking about, and it's all business to business stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But there was someone I know was asked for a photography thing. They were asked to make like a light box that you could use to take product photos.
Oh, right, yeah.
Where it's on a perfectly white background and the lighting is perfectly even and spread, and there are no reflections whatsoever. So essentially, like all of the insides of this box had to just be flawless, evenly lit white.
Yeah.
And it is such a pain in the ass. It's so incredibly difficult. Like, just use a photography studio, and if there's an awkward reflection on the product that you don't like, just have someone hold a big whiteboard on a stick in the right place.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so much faff.
Yeah. I remember watching some stop frame animation work of I can't for the life of me remember what it was, but I remember this detail. It was like an old 50s car with like all chrome bumper, and if you looked at the bumper, you saw this little guy in a white coat just zipping around the place because that was the animator. And it was kind of like, well, just leave it, it's fine.
It's part of the charm.
Yeah, totally.
It was one of my worries when I first started setting up this whole thing, but actually, like, you can see if I get really close to the camera, all you can see is my ring light. Which kind of looks like an anime eye reflection anyway, so it works to my advantage.
I noticed that doing the ad shot for this tonight. CGI stop frame claymation, and they put the thumbprints in on the pup. That's just astonishing. So
CGI, like you said, adding the flaws.
Yeah, totally. But and that's sort of why as well when I'm modeling stuff in hello.
Oh, they want the rubbish.
Unreal.
Down it. Down in one.
I can't even. Oh no! Apparently I can just. All right,
just fling it at them. Okay, yeah.
Blimey. Oh, I've been in restaurants like this. The Lego Movie had amazing flaws put in it. Oh, yeah. I don't think I've seen the original. I've seen Lego Batman, which is maybe my second favorite Batman movie.
I've seen It's the Lego Movie, the one with that Everything Is Awesome song.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen.
Yeah.
Batman is in that one.
Yes, yeah. Well, that was it. It's like Batman being in it was so successful that they made the Batman Lego Movie as a result. And I suspect as well that it was most of the problem solving in the original Lego Movie would have meant that it would have been a damn sight cheaper to make further Lego movies.
Yeah, they've done the same with games, though, haven't they? The Lego games make so much money, and they just it's so easy to reuse assets. Yeah. They're just Lego bricks. They're just the same Lego bricks. You just paint a different face on the Lego figurine. Yeah, and it's a different person.
I don't know quite how they operate, but if it's such that it's the physical Lego product equivalent as well. So you got we've released this model of B8 or whatever he's called, and so all of that data for the model exists already, and the assembly of it and the design of it is all done already.
So just import it into CGI Movie Maker. Whatever, 2020.
Yeah. Just game development's easy, isn't it? You just press a button.
Yeah, just pull it in.
Is it?
Drag it in.
I remember telling a developer from Frontier that what they should do is make it so that the planets in Elite have cities, but the cities aren't procedurally generated. They are translated from uploaded theme parks from their Planet Coaster game. And he said, that's a cute idea, but it would be very, very difficult to implement. And I said, what do you mean difficult? I summed it up in a sentence. Which happily he saw my irony.
I used to do a bit of, I still do sometimes in my spare time, do a bit of software development. I've made a couple of, cute little tutorial games, like everyone's seen a million of already. But I had a friend come to me saying, "Oh, you know programming, right?" And I was like,
"Oh God,
kind of. Yeah, I've made a couple of little scripts and apps, but nothing AAA." And they're like, "Right, well, I've had this idea for a thing that you can use to track your time as a freelancer and to automatically invoice people and blah blah blah." I said, "Oh, I'm sure something like that already exists if you look for it." Turns out it didn't exist in exactly the way that he wanted it.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh well, if there's a market for it, I might give it a go sometime." And he was like, "Oh, but I'll just pay you to make it, and then I get the money from it because it was my idea."
Wow.
I was like,
ideas are cheap.
Nah, you're all right. I'm not going to sign that line.
Wow. But yeah, that's it. I've got a designer friend who, and we have this conversation quite regularly, is that ideas, when they happen to you, seem like they're amazing, wonderful, unique things. They're not. They're really not. And dozens of people will have had, hundreds of people will have had exactly the same idea that your friend had, and just not. And as he was unable to execute, because that actually the execution is the thing. It's not the idea. What he's done is he's identified a need.
I've got some great ideas for movies, I can tell you,
Yeah.
but I don't have the money to hire a cast. I'm terrible. I never tried to write a script in my life.
Yeah.
I got nowhere to film it, nothing to film it with.
They want to pitch it too.
What a shame.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to go to like, oh, you direct movies, right? Oh, I got this idea. I'll get all the money for it and I'll just pay you to direct it.
It's this guy, right, Cup? It's this guy who's a vampire, right? He's a vampire and he gets bitten by a werewolf. Yeah. So whenever it's a full moon, he becomes a werewolf, right? And then, right?
Does he keep his vampire powers?
He keeps his vampire powers, but then he gets shot with a silver bullet through the heart, dies just as a zombie outbreak happens. So he becomes this zombie vampire werewolf.
A triple threat.
And the only thing that can stop him is his ghost.
His ghost?
Yeah.
Why can't anyone else stop him?
Because then we wouldn't have a film.
Ah, okay. Just gonna ignore that for plot. Okay.
Yeah. Orange Spark says it won't work because vampirism is generally stronger than lycanthropy. Sparky, none of those things exist. So,
you can be a werewolf vampire.
It's open season. Yeah, I don't see why not.
A werewolf vampire zombie.
Yeah.
But then, while he's after being zombified.
Yeah.
And therefore kind of double undead.
Yeah.
Does he retain? Oh no, he doesn't retain his personality because will have died and his corpse is animated as a zombie vampire werewolf.
His ghost's got
But then his ghost is his real self.
Definitely, yeah.
Ah, I get it now.
Yeah. No, that is your film. This is true. Thank you, Sparky. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh dear. I used to keep a notepad next to my bed for writing down dreams for movie ideas, but I wrote one down once and then read it back in the morning, and I was like, "Nah, no."
That doesn't make sense. I've gotten so far into thinking that this dream idea I had was good until you just reach this point. You think, no. No,
it's one of those things together. Like from within the dream, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But then when you describe it to someone, it's not a very good movie idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of my dreams seem to happen in like liminal spaces. Is the best way I can sum it up. Always like a kind of indoor shopping center, hotel, airport, train station kind of complex.
Yeah, they're between.
That's also sometimes a university or school at the same time.
Do you have recurring fictional spaces?
Yeah, the kind of the big. I don't know. I should think of a name for it, but it's just this one big inside. Everything's indoors. It's just a big hotel, shopping center, school, airport, train station.
Yeah, I have a couple of places. I don't know if this is the same place, but there are two sort of touristy town places.
Yeah.
That might be the same one. I'm not sure. That one of them is like everything's on the coast, and it's quite rocky, sort of somewhere between Cornwall and Malta, I would say, in its geology. And,
the rocks. I'll come back to the rocks.
Oh, the rocks. In terms of detail, I know there's a pub with a theatre in the basement, which is I don't think I've ever come across before in real life. It's like theatre's upstairs, never theatre in a basement of a pub. But Yeah, I had a very detailed dream about how Reese Shearsmith from the League of Gentlemen, they ostensibly he was going to be on This Is Your Life, and the sting was that they'd invited him to meet his old drama teacher
Right.
from school, who was directing this play in this sort of pub theatre basement theatre. And so the idea was that during this meeting, so she would be like working on the play. He'd turn up, and she'd say, "Would you like to sort of maybe do something with the kids?" And then while he's doing the kids, then Michael Aspel would pop up with a big red book and say, "Tonight, Matthew, this is your," because I'm doing the impression of Eamon, the wrong one. Yes, but there was a twist, because actually it was the drama teacher who was getting This Is Your Life, and not Reese Shearsmith. And Reese Shearsmith was the person that was kind of hooking them in to the gotcha moment. And they did this whole show about the drama teacher and like all of these different sort of celebs and people that she'd influenced through her life. Oh, and I absolutely want to see that show, and it doesn't exist, and it's not real. But all of that happened in this particular town in the dream. And and I find myself there quite a lot. And then the other one is a complex of swimming pools. So it's like
another liminal space type
Yeah,
thing.
totally. So there's like sort of 12 or more swimming pools in this huge. It's like a massive leisure centre, but just with pools.
Just pools everywhere.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's odd. It's kind of, what does your brain? Why does your brain keep going there? That's a very detailed dream. That was probably one of my most sort of detailed and coherent dreams. And I think it's sort of gotten more coherent with time, as it were. I think it was slightly more muddled when I was having
detail, time, and then
Yeah.
remembering detail,
or losing the fog. Yeah.
But the rocks thing reminded me of another recurring.
Yes, the rocks.
I don't know whether to call it a dream or a nightmare, but when I looked into it and researched it later on, it turned out to be a common OCD thing.
Oh, right.
And I did have some pretty awful OCD when I was younger, and it was that I was in my bedroom. So one of those dreams where you are definitely in bed, but you're awake and looking out into the room, but there's no free air. There's no empty space. It's all taken up by tiny little I don't know how to describe them. Kind of sharp rocks, like little, like pumice stones that you use for for scraping feet and stuff, like those, but all jagged and broken, and everywhere, so that you can't move a millimeter without touching one of them.
Yeah.
And they're all just levitating in every nook and cranny of the air, and you can kind of see between them, like you could see through them to the other corner of the room, but you can't really move much.
Could you breathe?
I could breathe, yeah. But yeah, it might. Did I get sleep paralysis? It might have been a sleep paralysis thing. Some reason why I couldn't move, but it was like the OCD part of it was that I was extremely aware of each and every individual stone and exactly where it was and the spacing between them all and everything like that. And I would just linger in that space for ages.
Within the sort of the dream space?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So it's almost like a hyper-awareness, which I guess I could sort of see how that would key into OCD.
Yeah, it was kind of like almost like the horror of getting drawn into being so aware of all the details and spacings and everything.
Yeah.
And that each stone must be perfectly positioned. Otherwise, I don't know. Just the universe will be upset.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the overall. Do you I know that OCD is a thing that sort of, as a term, gets thrown around quite a lot by people who do not have it. Does that bother you, or?
I mean, people do that with all kinds of things, though, don't they? People
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I was quite depressed" or whatever. There's
Yeah.
like different to being clinically depressed, and people say, "Oh, I'm quite OCD about the thing." Like I never get upset hearing people say that,
Yeah.
but clinical OCD is a distinctive thing, you know. CDO is better. It's in alphabetical order. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, much better, much better.
But yeah, when people say, "Oh, you know, everyone says they do," like, I'm sure you didn't really have it, and I was like, "No, no, no,
No, totally. Yeah.
I cried because I stepped on a crack of the pavement. I cried for half an hour. I had OCD."
Yeah, yeah. It's like celiacs. It's like, no, if I eat gluten, I will die.
Yeah.
It's not fatty.
Not the same as, well, some people can have a bit of an intolerance.
Oh, totally.
Like,
yeah.
Like, I know that I have a family member who, if they eat glutinous things, they get a little bit of an upset tummy.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's a bit of an intolerance. It's not celiacs.
And it's a curve as well. So I think there are people who are extremely intolerant, not to celiac kind of levels, but you know who they just can't be dealing with it anymore. But I've spoken to so many people because I just feel a bit bloated after eating, and I just every time I hear somebody say that, I think, are you sure you're not just full?
Yeah, that's why I feel bloated after eating, because I'm full of food.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I don't know. If it doesn't make sense, if it's like, well, I have like a sugar cube size amount of pastry, and then I can't really move for an hour. Yeah, that's fine. But it's you never get that clarity in those conversations.
No.
Yeah.
I do sometimes get the awkward conversation in, well, not so much anymore, but I used to get asked if I was vegan or vegetarian a lot in restaurants because, for example, I had gone to a lovely Italian place, and as a starter, there was some kind of, I can't remember what it was now, some kind of salad, I don't know. Just looked really nice, so I had that. And then for the main, I was like, "Oh, this mushroom, I think it was spinach, mushroom, and something else pasta. Just I saw someone else have it, and I was like, "Oh, that smells nice. I want that one." And then I was going for a vegetarian dessert as well, and they were going, "Sir, are you vegetarian?" I went, "No."
It's like all food.
Well, just so that you're aware, you have ordered 3 vegetarian options. It's like, yeah, looks nice. And I was just like, this feels a bit awkward. Do I have to choose meat if I'm not a vegetarian? I want the mushroom one. It looks nice.
Yeah. No, you must have
Don't
meat.
judge me.
You must have meat. What has all of this economic progress been for? If you do not have meat in every meal.
Oh, exactly. I've got an entire like hour-long rant holstered for that one, which I won't inflict upon you.
Yeah. I think it's fine to do it in restaurants. There's a thing that a vegetarian friend of mine queued me up on. I think I might have mentioned this before on a Jacks Off on a Plane. But it's if you have if you're going to a training thing at work or something, and they go, what are your eating requirements? People who are vegetarian will tick vegetarian. The problem is that when you get there, they'll have laid on some food for the vegetarians. It's like it'll be a buffet. Yeah. And they'll have put vegetarian food out for the vegetarians, but the meat eaters are going to eat that as well. Because
true.
It's not like they can't eat it. And and my Alison, my friend, sort of saying, you end up saying, no, you've got to have the pepperoni. You've got to eat the meat so that I don't have to eat the meat.
Yeah, but the dressing on the tofu cubes looks really tasty. I want some of that.
They've cut little pastellations into the cherry tomatoes. It looks so cute.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I love halloumi. Give me the halloumi.
Yeah. And
No, that's for the veggies.
just to rebalance things. Not that this has come up yet. I'm basically saying I'm vegetarian on those, and then I'm eating everything because it's just fair. It's just fair. Jimbello, oh yeah, freaked out by ordering the starter that had meat in it and then a vegetarian main course. I really don't understand. I can understand if their concern is that you haven't realised that the starter you've ordered has meat in it.
Oh right, yeah. I can
That makes
understand
sense.
people just sort of checking, just saying, "Do you
Yeah.
have any dietary? Are you vegan?" And you say no, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Okay," and then they carry on taking your order. Like that wouldn't seem odd to me.
Yeah.
It's when they just challenge you and they're like,
Yeah.
that's a bit. Are you sure you have
Espe-
ordered a vegan main?"
Especially in your scenario where you just ordered vegetarian stuff anyway, so it's like it doesn't. there's no danger. There's no jeopardy.
Halloumi's great. It's my friends and I describe it as squeaky cheese because it squeaks when you chew it.
I have not a love-hate relationship. I've had a bad halloumi experience, which is that I was at a restaurant and I ordered a halloumi burger, thinking that it would be a beef burger with a slice of halloumi on it. I don't feel like that was an unreasonable, I don't think it even had like a V next to it in the menu. It just said halloumi burger. Oh yes, they're specifying which cheese, which is again not unusual. And it was literally a halloumi sandwich is what I got.
Well, I have had one of those that was done very well with olive oil and a little bit of pesto.
Was it raw halloumi?
No, it was grilled.
Yeah, you see, to me that was the minimum requirement, I think. And they did not meet that minimum requirement.
Oh dear.
Very strange. I think they had somebody in it didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
I'm just scanning through the chat. Something a bit political but food related. A minister suggested using turnips instead of tomatoes.
I want to say Therese Kofi, but
they're not the same. They're nowhere near related to each other, vegetable-wise. No.
To give her a tiny amount of credit, I think what she was talking about was that we should, in our eating habits, be a bit more seasonal.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not how it came across. How it came across is let them eat turnips. Yeah.
Well, politicians can't all be good at public speaking, despite that being one of the main requirements.
Yeah. It's like certain politicians who haven't done well despite original popularity, and it's always the other people in the party had it in for them. It's kind of like getting them on side was their job. That was the skill set. Anyway, it's an odd landscape.
I've had raw halloumi. Like a bit of raw halloumi's okay, but I usually at least microwave it to make it hot and squeaky.
Definitely.
If I'm in a hurry, grilling's better. Or frying, lightly frying in some olive oil.
Seasonal eating, I should only eat Christmas foods. I could get behind that. I need to catch up. Roger, Plankton 1925 beat me in a very slow mukbang over the Christmas season on the mince pies front.
That's a word I haven't heard in a while. Mukbang.
Yeah.
Is that still popular? Is that still a thing?
I think so. Yeah, I think there are people out there doing it still.
Well, surely. I mean, on the internet, there's something for everyone, isn't there?
Absolutely. Hello.
Ooh.
I've got to clip up again.
Oh,
we're approaching. Where are we flying to? I think we're coming back from Nova Scotia, aren't we? No, we're going to Nova Scotia. Oh yes, I remember now. Yes, because
I might be on the wrong plane then.
Ninja Spell. Well, I was going to say now it's the worst time to find out because we're almost there. Realise it doesn't really make a difference, does it?
No, at what point in the flight you find out doesn't matter at all. You're still going if you're on the plane.
Yeah. So like, oh well, we've only just set out. It's fine. We'll
midway across. Stop the plane.
Yeah.
I need to get off.
No. It's like a joke about the chap who was so annoyed at his in-flight movie that he stormed out of the cinema.
I like that.
Yeah. Mukbang is a Korean thing. not soon to fade from that culture. That's a beautiful phrasing, Sparky. There's so many mince pies. We had this rule, which was that basically a pie is a pie is a pie. So if it was a mini mince pie, it still counted. And that was just to make,
the ones that are just one mouthful.
yeah, and that was just to make things easy. Plankton found like a box of 50 odd. So I think he cheated. I think I wasn't really in the spirit of that, but I'll let him have it. I'll let him have it.
So first he was like, okay, so ooh,
Oh, don't clap! Don't clap! Nobody claps. This is not a clapping plane. Good.
that snuck up on me. That's not the
Yeah.
first time that's happened.
Yeah.
I've been mid-conversation or Walkman tape, and
We
then
quite-
just we've landed.
We quite literally hit the ground with a bump there. Yeah.
Well, you know what they say: a good landing's one you can walk away from. A great
Absolutely.
landing is one after which the plane can be used again.
Definitely. Definitely.
You're clapping for him. Don't clap for him.
Oh, M Curtains. M Curtains done a clap.
Just clapping over there on your own.
No, he got the Saturday Night Live audience to clap.
Oh.
Yeah.
The confetto thing. I love that.
Yeah. We don't have the confetto cannon because it's a different setup tonight. But
You can't bring something with gunpowder in it onto a plane.
no.
Don't know
they've
if you
got
know.
Very strict rules. Very strict rules. All right.
You could probably, someone with enough planning could probably mash enough confetti cannons together to make a slightly larger confetti cannon,
Yeah.
enough to cause somewhat of a hassle to the passengers.
Yeah. When we launched the confetto cannon,
Yeah.
we got an eight. Oh no! Should I tell this? This is a bad story.
Is
No,
it?
I know. I just realized. No, there's no good way of telling this story. This is very much a wait for everybody else to be drunk story. I'm not gonna. I retract. If
Backpedal. Moving
sorry,
on.
Sorry, moving on. Doesn't matter. It's yeah. Oh, that's gonna be really gonna be.
If there's something that I've learned the hard way, is that the more you talk about the fact that you're not going to tell the story and that it's a
Yeah.
bad idea, the more people will demand it.
The more
So
you want
just
to, the more you-
just sweep it under the rug quickly and move on.
Okay. But
It's even worse if your guest starts talking about it.
You've just explained this is getting right. Basically, what it was I wanted a shot of somebody looking distressed whilst having confetti shot at them, and I got an AI to do it. And I thought it'd be funny if it was a small child. A small child just getting like a full blast in the face of confetti. I thought that would be funny. And
Oh,
yeah, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. That's it. That was all it was.
No.
That was all it was. There's a detail I'm missing out there, but that's all. I'm going to leave it to your wit and judgment to work out what was wrong with that picture.
I'm going to take the best possible
I think you should.
imagining in that it was probably too violent. It was just
Yeah, that was
too.
it.
They got really hurt by the cannon.
It was too violent. Yes, that was it. So in the end, we replaced it with a very old man, which is the next best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
Right. Oh, hello. We've got the end titles now. So we have landed in Nova. What are you going to do when you're here? While you're here in Nova Scotia, I hear the fishing's excellent.
Oh, I mean, I'm not one for fishing myself, but I might sample the local fish.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should. Did the AI report you to the authorities? No, because it was all running on my domestic. Yeah.
Oh, there he is, Bennett Foddy.
Yeah, Bennett Foddy, assistant arts professor. Oh, that must be his job. Wow. I have you seen the getting over with Bennett Foddy speed runs?
No. I can imagine. Is it like a glitch exploit? Immediate fling to
No.
the finish.
That's the weird thing about them is that I think it might be a fuzzy line as to what is and isn't a glitch. I don't feel, from the ones that I've seen, I don't feel that anything is happening that shouldn't be happening in the game. The game seems to be behaving in a way that it should, but it's just obscenely fast. Yeah.
I
It's
suppose
probably
once
not
you've got
one.
the technique down.
Yeah, and it's sort of. I think there are different paths up the mountain, so to speak, and I think there are sort of balancing off long, slow, easy versus hard, quick, easy. Hard, quick, no, hard, quick, hard but quick. Yeah, there we go. I realised I had a third adjective there that I didn't
Hard,
need.
quick, difficult.
Hard, quick, difficult. Yeah, best kind of game is what I call the HQDs. Yeah, getting over it is brutal. It is. I've not done it. I've not done it yet.
I played it. I've played it on my own. I got incredibly frustrated with it and rage quit.
How far?
So I got like up to, there was some containers in the sky.
Oh, that's quite good. So
And then I fell off.
You got ahead of the wall then. Is that like quite relatively early on in the game where it just gives you an almost vertical face to get up, which has struts sticking out of it.
Yeah, I managed that one.
Yeah. I'd like to have done it. I think that's the thing. I think I would like to be in a position where I have already done it. There. That's where I want to be.
But you don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. No, it's
Story of my life.
Far too difficult. Oh well, I think we've arrived. So I think
Are
this
we
is
allowed
it.
to? Is this everyone's like?
Yeah, we can.
The seatbelt sign's still on, but everyone's
It is,
like got
isn't
their
it?
hands on the seatbelt buckle and they're kind of leaning forwards a bit.
I've
Like,
rebelled.
who's going to go
She's
first?
not impressed. She's not impressed. Look. Oh, if he takes his seatbelt off, somebody else take their seatbelt off, then everybody will take their seatbelts off. It'll be anarchy.
We can't go anywhere till the doors are open.
Yep,
Not going to get there any faster.
sure. I'm sure the sun goes off eventually.
Are we still taxiing?
No.
Oh, we're waiting on the taxiway. That's what's happening. We're
Ah,
not
right,
like
okay.
at the gate
Fair
yet.
enough. Fair enough.
It's going to be one of those. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just queuing for an available gate. If you'd like to keep your seatbelts fastened while the plane is taxiing, thank you.
I'll put it back on. Oh yeah, she's fine now. She's fine. That's great.
No, she's relaxed. Okay. She's like,
Phew.
good.
Yeah.
My stern look has had the desired effect.
I think she might be a teacher. She's just deleting that tweet now.
Yeah.
Oh, tickled myself. She's listened to your whole conversation. I know, right? She hasn't said a thing. It's creepy.
Stealth photograph with the phone for a tweet.
Yeah,
This guy.
This jackass.
This guy
She
and this
strikes me as
cat.
a jackass person.
The entire flight.
Yeah. Spent the whole
Unacceptable.
the whole time talking about. I can't remember what have we been talking about tonight. Oh, there was a question I have not asked you yet. It's a really good question, and I was quite pleased with myself when I came up with it.
Be ashamed to forget it then.
It's the most
Anyway,
famous.
see you guys next
Yeah,
time.
bye. Thank you for
No,
flying
go,
with us.
ask away.
What's the most famous cat you've ever met?
The most famous cat I've ever met. I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I met a cat who was the cat of a local council building once
Okay.
in the Midlands. And
So
the cat went by, and my friend was like, "Oh, that's the council cat." I was like, "What?" Yeah, like the mayor's cat. They live in the the council building.
That's certainly a mark on the ladder.
Yeah, that's the most famous cat I've ever met.
What's the most famous cat you'd like to meet?
Oh, well, the most famous cat I would like to meet, unfortunately, I won't be able to meet, was, I believe his name was Mr. Stubbs, and he was the mayor of a town in Alaska. He was elected mayor as, kind of a protest vote But then he turned out to be literally the best mayor they've ever had. So he kept getting re-elected and re-elected until the day of his death. So
how was it? Just because basically the council could get on with it and not have to worry about.
I mean, in terms of like public appearances and addressing his audience, he was the best mayor there had ever been.
Fantastic.
Morale was through the roof.
Very, very unlikely to get cancelled as well as it can.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much you can say wrong if
you can't
speak
anything. Yeah.
That's why I should never be mayor. I'd make a terrible politician. I'd say one word out of line, get cancelled.
Yeah.
In 10 years' time, there's a YouTube video saying, Cup is a cat. What really happened?
Yeah. And why he should still be cancelled.
Yeah.
Because sadly, what happened was when he got cancelled initially, he was like, right, that's out of order, and thus began his slow and inexorable descent into far right. What's the word? Conspiracy theory politics. Yeah. You see it happen time and time again. I'm almost being serious right now.
And then just sink into obscurity. Like, oh, remember that guy? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a shame. Anyway. Wonder where he is now. Somewhere terrible, I hope.
No. The most famous cat I've not met. My friend met him.
Yeah.
And I can't meet him now because he too has upped sticks and returned to the pavilion. That's a cricketing metaphor that I'm using for the benefit of Millstone Barn, if you're still here.
I like that.
It's from the movie Brazil. That's the second time I've referenced it tonight. Because you've got to reference Brazil, haven't you?
I've not seen it.
Grumpy Cat.
Oh, Grumpy Cat.
Yeah. Who is no more, sadly, but did tour, and my friend went to see. I want to say a book signing. That doesn't make sense. On two levels that are kind of quite closely linked.
Well, you could have a little ink pad and a paw print.
Yeah, but there's no intent, is there?
No, it's just someone grabbing the cat's paw and rubbing it on a piece of paper for you.
Oh, I've got Prince's signature. Because really, what was it? A book signing? No, I broke into his house and I taped a pen to his hand, and then I just sort of wiggled it around a bit.
Yeah, it's the intent, isn't it?
That's really not Prince's signature. But I don't think we're going to get off this plane.
Are they're just going to keep us here on the runway?
Yeah.
How long until we start panicking?
Should we do closing thoughts?
Yeah, why not?
One of the details of Jack's Off on a Plane With I've not quite nailed down is how to finish.
Well, as long as it's not what's it called? The closing bars off that big nasty show, which you've probably never heard of.
I've not heard of it.
And I've only just barely heard of it.
Is he a rapper?
He's a big London rapper guy.
Yeah.
Called Big Nasty, and they do the closing bars where all of his guests spit some rhymes, and David Mitchell was on there. And when it was his turn, and the beat was going, and they counted him in, and the camera panned over to him, and he just looked at the camera and brought out a piece of paper and said, I've brought a note from my mother excusing David from the closing bars on Big Nasty's show due to his crippling inability to rap or be cool in any fashion. Yeah. It's something like that.
It's like when they used to have Stephen Fry on the Hoedown. Not on the Hoedown. I've turned 2 pages over at once. Then on Whose Line Is It Anyway? And they do the Hoedown round, and it's like you can't really improvise or sing or any of those things or dance or built quite a certain comedy sort of repertoire out of his inability to do singing, dancing, or improvisation. He'll knock you up an ode. He can do that. Not on the
Yeah.
not on the hoof. If a plane has a DVD movie system, what region are the discs locked to? Ooh. I think if I bought a plane, I'd probably want them chipped. The DVD systems.
If I bought a plane, I'd probably go with something regionless. In fact, I'm pretty sure that must be the answer. They're probably just not region locked.
Region 8, apparently. And Curtin says.
Oh, Region 8 is for planes.
Wow.
So you buy special plane DVDs?
Yeah, from the special plane DVD shop. Which, sadly was HMV. So that, you've got to go quite far. But it's okay, because you're in a plane. Oh, yeah, okay. And Curtin's giving himself a point there. I'm going to have to fact check that now. I wasn't going to bother. I was going to take it on trust. But you've just given yourself a point. So I'm going to have to fact check it. Right. Well, thank you very much, Cuppies and Cat, for joining me on this flight.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure.
I've enjoyed it. It's been technically reasonably apt. And the conversation has been a delight. So
likewise.
Enjoy Nova Scotia. And yes, I think we're doing this again next week with Terence Hampshire. So,
Terence Hampshire?
I know, right? Star of stage and screen. So until then, thanks again once again for joining me on this flight. And yes, we shall see you all anon. I'm going to press the end card now. So bye.
Guys, check it!
Yeah, check it.